Hey everyone, this is DWS Darius, and right now you're looking at my 125-gallon Mesoheros Festae aquarium. In this tank I have 3 juvenile Festaes, also known as red terrors, growing out in this aquarium. And as you can see, they're not alone. I also have a group of giant Danio and a group of now tilapia, and these 2 other species are simply in this aquarium as comfort fish. The Mesoheros Festae are rather shy fish, so I added these other species just to help bring out boldness and bring out character. So today I want to give you guys a look at these fish. I want to give you guys the truth about the Festae Cichlid. A lot of times when you do research about the Festae, the highlight is with their beauty, and they definitely are some of the most beautiful South American cichlids and just cichlids in general. However, there's a dark side. There's a reason why these guys are called the red terror, and today I want to talk a little bit about that. So first off, I'm sure that you noticed that this tank looked like it just survived the hurricane. Everything is destroyed, my rockscape has collapsed, wood is everywhere, and that's because my large male Mesoheros Festae that was living inside of my 350-gallon aquarium, I found out that he was the fish that was killing my other cichlids. He killed several of my Vieja cichlids, and I just had to get him out of that aquarium because he was still on a rampage trying to kill everyone else, and I had nowhere else to put him but inside this aquarium. And that's the reason why this tank looks like this. He's been destroying this aquarium. Now I know what you're thinking, why do I have such a large fish with smaller fish? When I added them, I actually added a divider so that the small fish could stay separate, but I left a hole inside the divider so that the fish could swim to the other side just to investigate and see what's going on. And it just so happened that all the fish went over to the side with the Festae. So I had one side of the tank full of fish, the other side was completely empty. So I decided just to take out the divider. And a couple of days later, the Festae started swimming around, exploring the aquarium, and here we are today. We have rockscapes crumbled, we have driftwood flipped over, and this guy is just showing his true colors, which actually looks pretty impressive. Now I pretty much just summed up this entire video with my intro. These fish are so aggressive that when my male was living inside of my community aquarium, he managed to take out several fish in less than a week. Now my community tank is a community of aggressive fish. I have fish that altogether are pretty aggressive. Some of these fish have a reputation of being some of the most aggressive fish, and yet the Festae was able to take some out in such an unnoticeable way. It took me so long to catch on because these fish are so sneaky, and that's what I want to talk about. Now before I actually get into that, I want to give you guys just a briefing of the species. So the red terror cichlid is a South American fish that's highly sought after because these are some of the most beautiful freshwater fish you can get your hands on. Now as juveniles, they might not appear to be so appealing because while they're young they try to stay safe and they show less color so that they could camouflage with their surroundings. However, once they become adults, they definitely blossom. The males, they develop a nice golden to greenish body, and they have nice blue speckles overlaying that body, and then they have a nice reddish pinkish outline on their fins. The females, however, they take the crown when it comes to beauty. They develop a nice orange reddish body, and they have nice contrast in black bars. And they definitely are one of the most beautiful freshwater fish that you'll ever come across. Unfortunately, with my past, I've been keeping Festaes for a couple of years, and I only end up with males. And males, they look nice, but like I mentioned, females, they definitely are the winner when it comes to the beauty. So hopefully with this batch of juveniles, I have me at least one female. Now as I mentioned, these are South American fish, and they normally come from Ecuador. You can maybe find them down lower in Peru, but they mostly come from northern countries of South America, and these are predatory fish. And it's pretty ironic that I say that because I have my big male in this aquarium with pretty much bait fish that are small enough to be eaten. Now these are ambush predators, so in the wild they will pretty much stay in one spot and wait for a fish to come by and just snatch them up. And it's pretty weird because these fish are so bright and so beautiful. How can a bait fish actually fall for that? But believe it or not, even though these fish are so bright, they actually camouflage pretty well among plants. So yeah, they'll stay in thick plants and just hide and catch prey as they swim by. Now as I mentioned, mine is living in a tank with bait fish. However, these are not the ideal hunting grounds. It's pretty tight. There's a lot of rocks and driftwood, and just it's hard for the Festae to actually get a good staging area, and I believe that's the reason why I'm able to get away with him living in this aquarium with fish that normally in the wild he would consider to be food. These fish can reach about 18 inches. That's for males. Of course, with cichlids, males tend to grow larger than females. Females will stay around 10 inches. If you want to get a male to that 18-inch size, you definitely need a larger aquarium. If I was to put my male inside of my 880-gallon aquarium, I definitely think he could reach that size. I have his cousin, the Mesoheros Festae, living in the aquarium, and he's definitely growing to that maximum size that they could reach in captivity. So if you have them in a larger aquarium, they could definitely reach that size. I didn't want to put mine inside of my 880 gallon aquarium because I'm pretty sure if I put them in that tank, everybody in that aquarium is going to jump them. Even though these fish are very aggressive, if he can't take on all these fish at the same time, especially since so many of them are so much bigger. And I believe the biggest threat for him inside of my 880 gallon aquarium is his cousin, because these fish like to hunt or be aggressive towards fish that are very similar. So I believe that his cousin, the Geoffreus, would kill him, and the Geoffreus is about maybe 4 inches bigger than him. So that's the reason why I didn't put him in an 880. And I'm not going to, because even if that wasn't an issue with the aggression, I know this guy, once he catches up in size, he's going to be a nightmare unto those fish. And I've had this experience before. When I actually first bought my 350, I had peacock bass and I had a smaller Festae. Of course, my luck, I get a male, and he was attacking them. So yeah, these guys definitely are aggressive. So that's the reason why he's not living inside my biggest aquarium. So yeah, these guys, as I mentioned, they can reach about 18 inches. I think I'm going to keep this guy inside this 125. So he's probably not going to reach 18 inches. He might stop around 14 to 15 inches. But yeah. Now when it comes to keeping these fish successfully in your aquarium, that's where it becomes a little bit tricky. Because these fish are very aggressive, but at the same time they're very shy. And that makes it a little bit hard to work with. So there's 3 main ways that we keep these fish when it comes to New World cichlids altogether. You could keep them individually, you could keep them as a mated pair, or you could keep them in a community. Now obviously I can't keep mine in a community. I kept my male in a community and he chose violence. So that's definitely not an option. The second choice would be to keep them individually, just have my male living by himself like I have in Donimus, and try to get like a wet pet relationship. However, these fish are just way too shy for that. And not just from my experience, I talked to other people who've kept these Festae, and it's just in their nature. They're very conscious of what's going on outside the aquarium, and these fish just never really get used to you, the fish keeper. They get used to you when it comes to feeding, but they're not going to fight against the glass or just be interactive like other fish, and that leaves the final option of a mated pair. And based on what I've seen with other fish keepers, I find that a mated pair is the best way to go with these fish. Now as juveniles, I'm having success with the community, but as these fish grow up, they're going to develop their character. Males are going to become aggressive. Normally females are not too bad. Those rules that I mentioned are mainly with males. I kept other fish. I've kept dovi, I've kept jaguars, fish that are notorious for being aggressive. Fish that are said to be just as aggressive as this Festae. They can't be mixed with communities. The males is 100% true, but I find females to be a little bit more manageable. So I don't know if it's the same way with these Festae. I'm going to try to keep these. If I do have females with these juveniles, I will try to add some to my community aquarium. But based on my experience with 2 grown males, the best option to keep these guys in the aquarium is with a mated pair. That might actually be the best way to keep these fish, as a mated pair. When they're a pair, they're both trying to show off, so they're showing the best colors. You're not going to have other fish in the aquarium to worry about. And at the same time, they're going to become parents. And I believe as parents, even though these fish are very shy, that might encourage them to be more interactive as pets. So yeah, definitely might be the best way to keep these fish. Now, just to go in a little bit more detail, in the case of my male killing those fish inside of my community aquarium, I've had other fish that has killed other fish. I've had red devils, I've had Batacophori tilapia, I've had jaguars, I've had a range of very aggressive fish. But the thing that makes the Festae unique, as I mentioned, these fish are shy. So while I'm in front of the aquarium, these fish really show aggression towards other fish. They'll chase or flare like every other fish, but they don't really show that heavy aggression like my red devils, which show just chasing and harassing fish nonstop. They don't really show that when you're in front of the aquarium. It wasn't until one day I was in the back of the fish room working, and I noticed it from across the fish room. The Festae couldn't really notice me, so he was showing his true colors, and that's the dangerous thing about these Festae. They're secretly aggressive. They'll secretly work their way up in the hierarchy. You won't even know it, and then boom, they're killing fish. So yeah, everyone, that's just a quick look at the Festae Cichlid. They're very beautiful fish. They definitely are some of the best looking fish you can get your hands on. However, they definitely are fish that you gotta pay attention to because they're sneaky and they can definitely do damage if you're keeping them with other fish. So yeah, I have mine in this aquarium and I'm gonna keep growing them out. And what I'm gonna do now is, as you can see, the Festae, the male, he's been digging, and that's the reason why these rocks collapsed, because he's been digging non-stop. What I'm going to do is reset everything. Now, I'm not going to build up the rocks, but I'm going to take this pal right here and brush this down a little bit. I break that down a little bit, and that just gives him something to do for next week. It took him the whole week to build this little pile. I'm going to break it down a little bit more after this video, and that's going to give him just something to do for the rest of the week, and it takes his attention off the other fish, and it just gives him something to focus on. Because if I leave it as is, he's going to go to his next thing to destroy, which is the plants. I saw him trying to rip leaves, and these are some pretty nice plants, so I definitely don't want him to do that. So yeah, I'm going to reset everything. But yeah, this is a quick look at the Festaes. They are definitely a nice fish, but they definitely are proven to be a fish that takes a little bit extra attention. Now, this is actually an aquarium that I'm debating whether or not I should keep. I love having this freshwater aquarium. It's pretty much a nice emergency aquarium. If I have something go wrong with my other tanks, I can put these fish here. And this tank has a lot of potential for the Festaes and just for other fish in the fish room. However, I'm starting to get the itch for saltwater. I definitely would love a saltwater aquarium. And this right here is the only tank that I'm willing to break down because it's not really as established as some of my other aquariums. So yeah, I'm gonna leave a little section for you guys to choose. Do you like the idea of the Festae? Should I keep going with these Festaes? Or should I actually break down this aquarium and try to go saltwater? I've been watching a lot of videos, and like I said, I got the itch, and I definitely want to get back into saltwater. Is this the time to do so? So vote on that. But yeah, everyone, just a quick video on the Festaes. Let me know what you think about the Festae cichlids. If you've kept these fish and you've had a different experience, let me know. And if you've had the same experience, let me know in the comment section below. I thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it helped you some way. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.